Today I thought we would try something a little bit different than the regular class overview stuff, and this is something that I'm actually just testing to see if you are interested in a series like this, but this is going to be the ground one level of this series, right? So what we're going to do is actually test against a training dummy, which is my homie over here, Calm M, rank 1, okay? So he's going to be standing there, and I'm going to be damaging him as the fire spec today, which is like the standard fire PvP spec. And then I'm also going to be comparing that versus Frost for you guys to see just how much damage these classes can do in comparison to each other, because I get a lot of questions like, hey, cartoons, should I play this class or this class? And it's really not up to me, it's up to you to decide. So what we're going to do is give you all the tools necessary in order to choose your main for Legion, right? Now, what we're going to do here is pretty much going to Dragon's Breath, or actually we're going to Combustion first, into Dragon's Breath, into Meteor, into Fireball with the Tinder buff right here. Okay, and then what we're going to do after that is Fire Blast for Pyro, and then use Pyro Blast into Fire Blast again, Pyro Blast, Flame On, Fire Blast, Pyro Blast, Fire Blast, Pyro Blast. Blah, that was a tongue twister. Anyways, what we're going to do is really just give this a shot for you guys to check out, okay? So, 3, 2, 1, bam. Put down a Meteor, cast a Fireball into a Fire Blast, into a Fire Blast again, Pyro Blast, Flame On, Fire Blast, and then Flame On, Fire Blast, or Fire Blast to Pyro Blast again. Sorry, there's a lot of blasting going on, if you catch my drift. But we were able to take him down in just a few seconds, and what's really nice about playing fire is that you only really have to cast Fireball. Like, that's really it. And in order to do damage, because most of their abilities are instant cast, and I think that that's one of the biggest strengths of fire in Legion, is the fact that they don't have to cast these really long Arcane Blasts or these really long Frost Bolts. However, there has been a lot of hype going around Frost for the last few, I guess, days, and how much burst damage it can actually do, even though it's a little bit inconsistent and you have to cast a lot, so we're going to jump into that clip. Now, Frost Mage damage in Legion works a lot different than what it normally was for previous expansions. You know, for previous expansions, it was more about just doing Ice Nova and then Ice Lance and, like, working your damage around that and having those Fingers of Frost procs, but now it requires a lot of Frost Bolting, a lot of casting, and that is the difference between playing Fire and Frost, is the fact that you have to cast Frostbolt as opposed to just doing instant cast Pyro Blast and Fire Blast and all that stuff, right? So the damage right now works around a couple PvP talents, and I'm going to show you in just a second, but I'm going to be playing Lonely Winter for 23% increased Frostbolt damage, Ice Ward to get more Shatter combos, Unstable Magic to give you more Frostbolt damage overall with that 20% chance, and then Glacial Spike, which is your big nuke, and I'll explain that in just a minute. The other two PvP talents that you're going to take, which are really essential, is Deep Shatter, which increases your Frostbolt additional damage to frozen targets by 200%, which is a really big deal. And then Ice Form, which increases your Frostbolt damage done by 30% overall. So how this works is you're going to build up a Glacial Spike, and it's going to be like a little baby one to start with, right? So you're going to get that Glacial Spike damage by just Frostbolting without doing anything, building up those Icicles. So as you can see, what we're going to do is get to 3, 4, okay, 5. And then we're going to sheep him to get him to full health. We're going to Glacial Spike him. This isn't going to do a whole lot of damage, but what we're going to do is just Glacial Spike and then cast Frostbolt, and then Frostbolt again, and then Frostbolt again. And he's already almost dead, but I have these huge Icicles right here. So what we're going to do after he heals up just a little bit is, again, hit him with this Shatter Frostbolt. Okay, so we've got 4, and then we're just going to hit him with a 5th, because whatever, right? So what we're going to do now is hit him with a huge Glacial Spike because of all those Icicles that are stored up here. And we're also going to Ice Nova before the Glacial Spike hits him so that it counts as a crit, because it activates Shatter, right? So we're going to Glacial Spike, Ice Nova, and then, as you can see, I hit him for a pretty high amount. That wasn't the highest amount that, like, normally happens in Arena. Like, if you can get a really high... if you can get a really high Ice Nova, or Glacial Spike with Ice Nova, then you can really do a lot of damage. But again, you know, it's kind of complex because it takes a lot of build-up, but what we're going to do is show you again just what the damage looks like. So again, if I hit him with a couple Frostbolts and get him to that Glacial Spike range, and then it's just a little baby one, not a big deal, and then hit him with a couple more big damage abilities with these Frostbolts, getting these Shatters going. and then blink into them and frostbolt for another big shatter, and then you can also hit them with another one if they're close and they could just die. But the main thing is that you want to get those big glacial spikes, and outside of arena it's a little bit sketchy because it's not exactly perfect. But you know how it's going to work is obviously, since I have these 5 huge icicles, what we're going to do is just use our glacial spike, and we'll be good to go. So let's see, glacial spike into ice nova, and bam, that was just 1 million. So normally you see around 1.2 million whenever you can do this correctly, but you can also get upwards in like the 2 million plus, which actually just one-shots somebody, so it's pretty crazy. But yeah, guys, what we're going to do now is jump into some arenas so you can see what it's like in a real PvP situation. I know that this is just explaining just like the demonstration of it, but that's really is how it works, and I want to show you guys what it looks like in arenas, so let's go ahead and jump into that for both classes. Alright guys, that does sum it up for today. I hope you did enjoy this new series, and obviously if you did, be sure to give a big thumbs up and leave a comment down below of which type of comparisons you want to see next if you did enjoy this series. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to be updated for future videos, and also check out my website if you would like to see my top 5 favorite Legion beta classes in my opinion. So thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Cartoons out.